Bow Wow once said, "Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way you dribble up and down the court. Just like I'm the king of the microphone. I like no interruptions while the game is on." The National Basketball Association is a major business of entertainment and is not only in the U.S., but in the entire world. Now, the NBA is filled with the most talented basketball players in the world, and its players are some of the most highly paid people around the world. Now, to respect the NBA, you must first look at its history. First, as it began, as it rised in popularity, and where it is now today. Now, as for the beginnings, let's think about a skyscraper. See, a skyscraper can't be built without first having a base, a solid foundation laid. And that is the same for the NBA. Now, the NBA got its start in New York in 1946. And the NBA started off not as the National Basketball Association. Instead, it started off as the BAA, or the Basketball Association of America. Now, in 1949, the BAA joined with the National Basketball League, the NBL, to create the NBA. By 1950, the NBA consisted of 8 teams in cities such as New York, Minneapolis, Philadelphia, and Boston. Now, the NBA also was a place for social stands. Teams like the New York Knickerbockers made a groundbreaking move to add the first non-white basketball player, a Japanese-American, Wataru Misaka, shown here, in the 1947 season. The Washington Capitals also followed suit soon after, with having the first African-American player and Harold Hunter, also seen here. Now, the Boston Celtics were also known for integrating African-Americans well within their teams. And as Isaiah Thomas, a former NBA player and Hall of Famer, stated, "I was told to root for the Boston Celtics growing up because they were the team that had all the brothers on it," as you can see here. Now, one of the African Americans on the Celtics team in the 50s, 60s, and 70s was Bill Russell. And Bill Russell helped to usher in the reign of the Boston Celtics. Now, within the time frame of the late 50s, all the way through the 60s, and a little bit into the 70s, the Boston Celtics acquired 11 championships, all with Bill Russell. Now, this reign is unbelievable and honestly unprecedented. This man has, as you can see, tons of rings. He doesn't even have enough fingers to hold the amount of rings he has. Now, another big change came in the 1970s, specifically in 1976, as the National Basketball Association, or the NBA, adopted or merged with the ABA, the American Basketball Association. Now, with this move, the NBA added on and made a total of 22 teams, and not only did they add teams, they also added star players such as Julius Dr. J. Erving. Now, with this move, we kind of move into the 80s and the 90s, where the NBA really started to blow up. Now, with this, the big thing in the 80s was the Boston Celtics versus the Los Angeles Lakers, and more specifically, Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. This rivalry was amazing, as it was 2 dynasties pinned up against each other throughout the 80s, as Larry Bird led the Boston Celtics to 3 championships, while Magic Johnson led the Los Angeles Lakers to 5 championships. Now, the 80s do have some issues with it, as it was known as an era that was a little bit more tough and a little bit more rough, as there were more harder fouls, there were more guys hitting the floor and hitting the ground hard. Now, a team that emphasized on this was the Detroit Pistons, led by Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons, also known as the Bad Boys, went on to use this aggressive fouling and aggressive hard-hitting basketball to win 2 championships in the late 80s and early 90s. Now, the 1980s also blessed the NBA with some amazing players, as specifically the NBA draft of 1984. Now, the 1984 draft was comprised of 4 future Hall of Famers in John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, and of course, Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, in my opinion. Now, Michael Jordan, not only did he do amazingly well on the court, he also built his brand tremendously off the court, and this helped to build the NBA's rep. According to Forbes magazine, Michael Jordan's net worth is estimated to be around $1.4 billion. Let me repeat that. $1.4 billion. This man is rich and just might be the most wealthy wealthy athlete in this world. And because of this, the NBA grew tremendously. Now, with this growth in popularity, it allowed for the NBA to become what it is today. Now, the NBA is a powerhouse in today's world entertainment. According to the NBA.com, the past 4 out of 5 NBA championship series has had the highest TV rankings in NBA history. See, the NBA has risen to an elite in this world's athletics. And my prediction is that not only is the NBA going to be here to stay, but it is going to continue to grow into even more of a powerhouse.
Brianna.
My one criticism I would say is you say now and see as your fillers all the time. But I can tell that you're very interested in this, and you put the energy and interest into your speech.
Kaylin.
I really liked how loud you were. You weren't like so loud that I was like, oh my gosh, he's the most crazy guy. But it was like that it kept me like in tune. I really liked how your sides moved and how you had like